You're listening to the Fierce Fatty Podcast, episode 143. Beachbody announce they are body positive, but are they really? Let's do it.
Perfect.
Hello, fatties and fat allies. Welcome to this episode. I am so excited to talk to you today about this juicy little bit of gossip. And we have a guest. Oh my goodness. I know you're not used to ever having guests on the show, but I know someone who is a giant, I don't know if they're going to be okay with me saying this, nerd when it comes to this topic. And I was like, I will not do this topic justice. So I want to introduce you to our guest, Jen. Say hi, Jen.
Hello, everybody. How are you today, Vinny?
Oh, well, I thought you were talking to the audience and saying, how are you, audience?
I'm talking to everybody.
How are you, audience? Yeah.
Yeah. How is the audience doing today? I hope you all are doing well.
Yes. Well, obviously they're doing well. They listen to the Fierce Fatty podcast. I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So I met Jen on the Instagrams. We were connected like probably before when I was probably messaging about stuff, and then recently you had either shared or commented on a post that I had reshared of mine, which was about the intersection of for fuck's sake, I always struggle with this. So I want to call them M&Ms, but it's MLMs. If I refer to them as M&Ms from now on, we'll know what it is, and we'll talk about what that is in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. And so M&Ms, diet culture, and cults, and the intersections there. And so that, we started talking about that, and you were telling me all about Beachbody, and I was like, oh, really? So that's how we got started talking. But anyway, before we get into all of that, Jen, tell us who you are, what you do, everything. Just tell us your life story, basically. Nice and simple.
Gee, that's too much. So my name is Jen Borruso. I am a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, former Beachbody, quote unquote, coach. That is what they call their M&M reps. If it was an M&M company, it'd be so much better. Mm-hmm. So MLM is multi-level marketing. So we'll throw that out there. I was in Beachbody for many years as a rep, and let's just say the experience was not good in the end. I still wanted to help people with health and fitness, and come from a place that is complete opposite of what they do there. And so I consider myself size inclusive. I have a certification in that. I try and make fitness accessible to everybody. Everybody and every body is really important to me. I want to say I create a safe space, but I don't know if I can actually say that quite yet. Mm-hmm. But I work hard to. And I meet people where they're at. That's the biggest thing for me. Mm-hmm. Meeting people where they're at in their health and fitness journey, because not everybody is going to be the same, because every body is different.
Mm-hmm. And how long were you with Beachbody?
I started with Beachbody in 2012 with a burned set of Insanity DVDs. Mm-hmm. Because I was watching late at night after work, drinking bottles of wine, and the infomercials would pop up, and I didn't have the money just to buy even the DVDs. So I had a cousin said, I have burned copies, you can have them. So that's how I started. And I started posting my workouts on Facebook, and somehow I ended up in some sort of Beachbody group on Facebook, and I got sucked into the coaching world. Mm-hmm. Which is like, you'd be an amazing coach. You can make side income, have a side hustle, and make a career out of it just by sharing your journey. No training, no qualifications, no education in health, fitness, anything needed. You just had to buy a challenge pack. And that is still the case today.
Wow.
Beachbody was started in 1998. So it's been around for
1988.
1998, 24 years.
Oh, really? I thought it was a little bit older than that. Like,
no.
I could imagine, like, people in the 90s doing it.
1998 was when Beachbody was founded. So it's been around for 24 years.
Yeah. And so for those who are not familiar with what Beachbody is, my knowledge of Beachbody is just, from watching the scam shows, the MLM shows, and also that outrageous advert they did a number of years ago, which was a yellow advert, which had a picture of a thin white woman, and it said, "Are you Beachbody ready?" Or is that what it said? Are you Beachbody ready? Or you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So tell us what is Beachbody? We're saying LMN, M&Ms, and all that type of stuff. So is it a fitness company, a nutrition company?
It is a fitness and media company that also has nutrition plans as well. They sell supplement lines, ridiculously overpriced, unnecessary supplements. And we'll get into one of them a little bit later when we talk about how they're trying to shift and co-opt some things. But it started out just as like home workout DVDs. And then they shifted in 2017 into the online platform with Beachbody On Demand. And now they're going interactive they're shifting from Beachbody On Demand. Now they have BODi, which is what they're going to be calling themselves now. But it's an acronym. It's Beachbody On Demand Interactive. So Beachbody is still in the name. Beachbody is not going away. It's still there. It's the B in body. But they're putting it all on one platform now. They're really trying to compete with Peloton.
And Peloton stocks are in the garbage as well. So
yeah, it is all they went up during the panorama, which is what I like to call it. Because people were at home. But now the world is opening up. People are going back out to gyms. And at the same time, especially with Beachbody, people are waking up to realizing that we don't want that type of messaging or marketing, the before and afters, the transformations, eating minimal amount of food. Like people don't want it anymore. We're waking up. It's finally, I mean, this movement started way before I came along, and it took me hitting my rock bottom in my ED and discovering intuitive eating, and then just immersing myself in that type of content on Instagram. Like I did a detox of my feed and just reading and listening to podcasts. I've listened to listening to yours, and realizing that we don't want to shrink ourselves anymore. We shouldn't have to be a valued member of society, and to be valued as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people are waking up, and Beachbody has been confronted about this. Carl has been confronted about it.
Carl is the CEO.
And Autumn Calabrese is the face. She's the quote unquote super trainer who does not have any current certifications in personal training.
I was going to ask you that, because I was looking at her Instagram profile today, and she says trainer expert and nutrition expert, and I was like, hang on, is she a dietitian? Is she like a registered personal trainer? No. Or
she is no longer certified as a personal trainer. She let that lapse. She is certified as a holistic health coach through IIN, which is the certification that Dr. Mark Hyman, however you say, I don't like him, name, that is his school.
Which is
that is what she considers herself, as a nutrition expert. Yeah. Because has that certification.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to Beachbody and the structure of what happens. And so you mentioned before, originally they were selling DVDs. What was the shift into being I'm just going to say pyramid scheme from now on? They deny that they're a pyramid scheme, but how are they a MLM, and what does that mean exactly? And when did that happen? roughly?
It started shifting around. So they started in 98. They were just selling DVDs. The CEO of the company was actually using his before and afters as marketing. And then as more people were joining and doing this, they came up and they saw what other MLM multi-level marketing companies were doing. How can we not pay for marketing and get other people to do it for us? So that's what multi-level marketing is. Like, they don't want to pay for the advertising. Let's just get the people to sell for us. So in 2014, around 2014 is when the coach network started. You'd be a Team Beachbody coach. And there were 7 founding coaches, and they are still to this day part of the company, and they do not actively work the business, but they are making millions of dollars every year.
And how do they make that millions of dollars, Jen? Do enlighten us.
So you start here, you bring on people here, those people bring on more people, and it just keeps going. So every time somebody buys something, it goes all the way up to the top.
And so for those who are just listening to the audio, Jen is drawing a pyramid shape.
Yes.
So they're at the top of the pyramid, and what they do is they will recruit people underneath them to become coaches, and then those coaches then recruit coaches to be coaches underneath them. And so their income is not from selling products. Their main income is from their downline.
The main income and the bulk of the money comes from what's called team cycle bonuses. So it's based on the volume of sales your downline makes.
Mm-hmm.
And they've actually, they're changing up the compensation plan a little bit. I haven't had a chance to look yet, but somebody sent me all the information. So I need to look at that again, but it's still the same scheme.
And so the person on the top, their income mostly comes from the person underneath them and their team underneath them, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
From the person recruiting people, and the more people that they recruit to sell more recruitment, that's how they're making their money. So it's a and then do you have to pay fees to get started?
$16.95 a month you have to pay for the monthly business fee. And you can either sign up as a coach by just paying the coach sign up fee. I think it's either $39 or $49, but they usually get people to join as a coach by saying, buy this total solutions pack, then you don't have to pay the coaching fee.
And what's in that pack?
There's a variety of them. They usually include the membership for the Beachbody On Demand or BODi, and then it includes supplements and usually Shakeology.
Yeah. Okay. And so then your upline, your boss, would you call it how would you call them? Your mentor?
They're your upline. They say upline.
Yeah. So they would be pressuring you to do what? To get you to sell what?
To get you to sign up more people as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want customers, you want coaches.
Yeah.
And my upline didn't like me because I refused to sign people up as a coach if they weren't going to actively work the business or buy Shakeology or supplements every month, because when you're a coach, you get a 25% off discount. So instead of paying $150 a month for a 30 serving bag of Shakeology, you were only paying $100, but then at the same time, you were still paying $16.95 a month. So still $120 a month to stay active as a coach to make money.
And you could probably just go to any store and buy those things for like a fraction of the price anyway.
Yeah, and it's better.
Yeah.
It tastes better.
Yeah, which I guess is not the goal of Beachbody, is to have people there getting the discount to buy the overpriced stuff anyway. Their goal is to get more coaches selling more coaches, to have this lifestyle of being an entrepreneur.
The coaches are the customers.
Yes. And I think that's the difference between like watching what in the States defines a pyramid scheme. And the idea is where is your income coming from? Is it coming from selling products, or is it coming from recruiting other people? And if the majority of the income is from selling, coaching, getting more people under you, then it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously Beachbody has a lot of money and a lot of power to lobby different governments to influence outcomes of investigation. So unfortunately at this point they are still allowed to get away with it, which boils my piss. Yeah, because I think about all the people like you, Jen, who work so hard to try and, you say work the business. And I don't know about you, but I know when I started in the online business world, I was like, I am gonna get shit done. I'm not like one of these other people who don't take it seriously. I'm gonna be really successful because I am committed. And I watched an interview that you sent me with the CEO, Carl Denneker. Is that his name?
Deichler.
That's it.
Deichler.
And he says the level of what your level of your work determines your income. And I was just like, that is absolute bullshit. It's not your level of work, because people could be working really, really hard, but then have ethical standards, like you mentioned, of refusing to recruit people because it's maybe at that time you didn't know that it was a scam, but you were doing right by people, and so it's almost like your level of your income or your success in these businesses is in some ways like the level of your I don't want to say morality, but your desperateness, ethics. Yeah, like your level of your ethics. And I don't want to blame the people who were in it unless they're in like, the top positions, because I think a lot of people are totally not given the information, right? Like I would 100% fall for something like this if it happened to me at a certain time. Like what? There's no doubt, because it seems simple. You be your own boss and work hard and you'll be successful. Like, fuck yeah, I can do that, because
they tell you you can work in pockets of your time and you only need to work an hour a day to be successful. I remember that.
Really?
There have been recently top coaches that are working from a hospital bed after they've given birth to their babies.
It's absolutely horrifying.
That's not, and they talk about time freedom. You don't have time freedom, you have location freedom. It's not they're always on their phones. Like my business is 95% online, and I have business hours. Like I have boundaries. I don't work before a certain time. I don't work after a certain time, because after being in Beachbody and working I was working in a restaurant. I was managing a restaurant and working 70, 80 hours a week. And then I would get my uplines and people like, why aren't you working more? Why aren't you on all our team calls? Why are you missing our calls? This should be our priority. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm working a full-time job that is actually paying me and paying my bills. So I was a coach for a while, and then I quit, and then I came back. I got sucked back in when at the time, sister-in-law I had elbow surgery, and I stopped exercising. I was eating I was drinking way too much, and I just was not happy. And she saw it, and she said, why don't you join and be a coach on my team? You'd be a great coach and start doing this again. And I said no for a long time, because I had left the management job and I took like a 75% pay cut. So I knew I didn't have the money for Shakeology every month. And she's like, well, I'll buy the challenge pack for you until you get 3 people under you, and that'll pay for your Shakeology every month. So they got me in that way. But throughout the time that I was in it, I sat down and I looked at my profit and loss. Like I finally did the numbers, in like the 3.5 total years I worked the business, I made $200.
Oh my God. I wonder what that would come out to per hour. Probably like a penny per hour or something.
Less.
Yeah.
Less the amount of money I worked. So when coaches or anybody is like, I'm thinking about doing this, ask your upline for their profit and loss statement. Keep track of what you are spending on all of your supplements and what you're bringing in. Because if you're not in the US, if you're a 1099 contract employee, the business that you're contracted with, if you make $600, they need to send you a tax form. If you're not getting that tax form at the end of every year, they're losing money. Mm-hmm. If you're making $550 in income from Beachbody, you're losing money within 6 months because Shakeology costs in 6 months over $500.
Yeah. And the great thing about this is, great in quotation marks, is these companies will have these statements available of what percentage of their coaches are profitable, and it's something like less than 1% make a profit. Yes. And the profit can be, like you say, it can be $5, you know, and for the amount of work that you're doing. And so Beachbody is shady as fuck, exploits their people, is a pyramid scheme, is a piece of shit company because of all of that stuff. But also,
but wait, let's before we get to this part, I'm just gonna say I do YouTube lives with some girls, women who were in Beachbody with me. We call it Sip and Snark. And we listened into the Q2 earnings call with Carl Deichler and the ups where they're, all the investors are asking. He called the Beachbody coaches an unsophisticated sales force.
Oh, wow.
It's on tape. Like the audio is there. Like he's calling them this. And at the same time, they're like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. It's like, do you understand how he actually feels about you? There's so much cognitive dissonance within not just Beachbody, but within all MLMs.
Oh my goodness. And that's absolutely. I speed listened to that hour-long interview with him and a coach on 2x speed, because I was like, I can't have this shit in my brain. And I was horrified at the way that he was talking to that coach, and also about everyone, the presumption that everyone is lazy, and if only they worked harder, then they would be successful. And if they just did what he said, or and the way that he was harassing that coach, I just felt like secondhand trauma for what she was experiencing. And you pointed out that he's like, why are you not making more money? Why haven't you reached this level? And she said that she was working 18 hours a day. And so he's like, so you're hustling for 18 in her previous business. And so if you're hustling for 18 hours a day, why are you not making whatever it is, gold star, bangled, whatever? And I was like, what? Do you want her to sell a fucking kidney?
Yeah.
She's probably close to death from exhaustion and stress, and this fucking CEO, he's a rich white man, is saying, why are you not making more money for me? I just wanted to kick him in the face.
And is that the one I sent you where he shamed her for being the modifier, not having a bigger transformation?
When you say modifier, what is that?
So when they do the workout programs, they'll have the trainer doing the moves, and they'll have a modifier who's doing a different variation, like an easier variation of the move. So this coach that you saw is the perpetual modifier, because Autumn is her best friend. So she's in a lot of her training programs, which is a whole nother level of hot mess when it comes to the coach business. If you're friends and close with the super trainers, I'm using air quotes here, people, super. That gives them a leg up. Like she's in the top of the company, And you see any coach who has a close relationship with one of the trainers, they do well. They try and say that's not true, but the numbers don't lie.
And so modifier is seen as not as good as a trainer.
Right. And it's usually someone in a fat body.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because the fat people apparently they can't do the original stuff. And so they need to be like, here's what you can do. And so it always has to be a fat person basically to show you how to do it, because clearly all fat people have limited
a fatter person, a larger person, somebody not as small as Autumn, because she is tiny.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So what is so Beachbody is selling? Is it selling weight loss? Is that the goal? Like, what is the goal? Like weight loss / health?
They're saying they sell people on improving and living a healthy, fulfilling life. But it's about weight loss.
Yeah.
It's about weight loss. And at the beginning of this year, they launched a program called Gut Protocol. This goes into Miss Calabrese's qualifications. It's an elimination diet.
I saw that too. I was like, oh, she's like a doctor as well, like a gastroenterologist.
It's even stricter than Whole30, which is problematic in and of itself. But the point of it is to identify your food triggers, because they've thrown out a stat that 95%, was it 95%? I think it's 75% of Americans have undiagnosed food sensitivities. Food sensitivities isn't a medical term. It's not a thing. Food intolerances and allergies are. But how can you, if 75% of the population is undiagnosed, that means, and 25% is, that means 100% of our population has food sensitivities.
Well, I mean, like, I'm sure, like, if you ate something to extremes, you know, like apple seeds that have arsenic, then maybe you'd be sensitive to arsenic, you know, like you had to have to eat like 5,000 pounds of apple seeds. And maybe then, you know, maybe to the extreme or something. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so they're diagnosing everyone as sick. So, but they've got a solution for it with their program.
But this program is supposed to be about feeling better and feeling good. But then as soon as they started putting out the marketing material to promote it, at the very top is weight loss and inches lost. But it's not about weight loss. So if it's not, take that out. And stop showing the transformation pictures.
Because they have lots of before and afters, right?
Oh, they're not calling them before and afters now. This is part of they're trying to flip the script.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah, absolutely. So what
they're getting sneaky.
Yeah, they are sneaky motherfuckers. You have to be really eagle-eyed to spot this stuff. So what do they think about fat bodies in their, you know, what's their messaging around fatness?
That fat bodies are not healthy. They can't be healthy. And as much as they try and deny that, it's on tape. There's words, they've said it in groups. And there are people who have been in Beachbody as a coach in fat bodies who have felt ostracized and not part of the community, and they leave and they speak out. And whenever they do, we're called haters and trolls, and we just didn't work hard enough. It wasn't the program's fault or the diet's fault that it didn't work. It's your fault.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's blatantly false.
Yes. 100%. And exactly that correlation with diet companies, so, you know, diets in general. If only you were really committed, if only you really wanted this, then you would have been successful. It's your fault. Has nothing to do with our garbage product, our garbage company. And
I was immensely successful with the programs. not in a good way.
Yeah. And so what do you mean by that?
I was diagnosed with orthorexia and binge eating disorder, and I wasn't diagnosed with anorexia though, because I wasn't small enough.
So you had, quote, atypical anorexia, which is anorexia in people who are not very, very thin.
No, I was still, according to that stupid scale, normal.
Yeah, which is fucked up. And actually, so funny that you mentioned that. My next week's episode is going to be on atypical anorexia and how fucked up it is.
It really is.
Because, if someone who is not eating enough has and is struggling with that, no matter their size, if they're struggling, but in a someone who's not very thin, then it's kind of like, good for you, keep going. You're like, but I have a mental illness. Doesn't matter.
And if somebody is fat, they're saying, no, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing it.
Because you need to lose the weight. Keep doing it. You're fine.
Yeah.
No. They don't like fat bodies. Was it 2021 when Cosmo UK came out with the This Is Healthy?
Yes.
Right.
With Jessamine Stanley and who else is in there? Was Tess Holiday in there?
I don't think it wasn't Tess Holiday.
It was other athletes, right?
It was other athletes.
Yes.
Well, this is how Beachbody feels about that. You can call them strong, but you can't call them healthy because they're in a larger body. They may be strong and athletic, but their blood markers are off. They're not healthy. How
do they know that?
She doesn't. This is Autumn Calabrese.
But hang on, probably she does, because she's an expert, right? So maybe she's got like X-ray vision or something.
She said in this again, anything I'm saying that she's saying, I have video of it. There's audio, there's video. It's like, it's out there. I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a doctor, but they can't be healthy in that size body. I'm like, yes, they can. I'm like, she's talking about mine. Like, yeah. So this goes back years of her saying things like that, and the mindset and the mentality she has and the feeling she has about people in fat bodies. It's deeply rooted. And I think for me, once I got out and I started learning and listening and shutting up and feeling uncomfortable, it's a lot easier to see now. And it's been 4 years. So when I first started, I was very, very resistant to listening to any of it because I was in Beachbody for so long. But now, like, once you get out, it's like red flag. Like, you see it everywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like it's not hard to miss anymore.
Yeah. And I just want to say, just for the listeners, we're mentioning Autumn Calabrese because, like you mentioned, she's the, quote, super trainer, and she's got like 1 million followers, and she's basically the coach of all coaches. And then above her would be the CEO and the management team and all that type of stuff. But then she technically probably still isn't even an employee of Beachbody. No. She's probably a consultant. Yeah.
They do contracts.
Yeah. So what about their prescription for like movement? So do they talk about movement in a holistic way in regards to saying movement can be a small part of healthful behaviors, and obviously not everyone can move, and sometimes movement can be unhealthy for people? And so I'm guessing that they absolutely definitely talk about movement like that.
It's no excuses. It's everyone has 20 minutes a day. It's no pain, no gain. It's sweat is fat crying.
Wow. And so they want you to work out every day?
Pretty much. Wow. So the programs, there's no program that is actually designed for 7 days a week. It's like 5 or 6 days a week. Some are 4. like the newest one that came out was 4 because really people don't want, well, one, she was putting them on a severe restrictive diet, eliminate, with the program, an exercise program went along with it, and they still weren't eating enough. I did the count. I'm like, oh, this is disaster waiting to happen. But when you're doing the programs in this group of, like in a Facebook group, because you always had a Facebook group, you're running challenges, they call them their boot camps, and you're all doing the program together. But in order to be a product of the product, you have to have a before and after transformation picture, because you need to sell, you need to show that you're changing. So this is my experience now, and I'm not the only one that did this. I would do the program that we were doing, and I would do 2 other workouts. There were some days where I was doing 3 hours of workouts.
Oh my God.
And eating less than what the portion fix lowest bracket was. Showing publicly. Then not showing was the binge eating. And I was still dropping.
Because it was really, really intense. And just basically what they're doing is teaching people how to eat in a disordered way and move their body in a disordered way, and eventually moving into having eating disorder symptoms and behaviors, and like you mentioned, orthorexia, etc., like totally fucking up your relationship with food and your body
and your actual overall health.
Yeah.
My hair was falling out. My nails were always breaking. I was always cold. My blood pressure was low. My thyroid was messed up. And I was actually going through a health issue the entire year of 2016. I ended up having a hysterectomy in 2017. I was in the ER every month, still doing all these workouts, still following this plan, not sharing any of that on social media, because that would blow up the illusion that Beachbody is perfect. I am so, like, when they're shifting, they're trying to say they're body positive now, and they're with the body positivity movement. They have no idea what it is, because I don't love my body all the time. I never will, but I'm so thankful, grateful, and accepting of I'm still here. I'm still here.
Which is, and like,
I'm amazed I am, to be honest, sometimes.
Yeah. And thinking about this too, thinking about the state that they put you in, that state of starvation, over-exercise, and on top of it, you've got your upline saying, why haven't you done this? You need to do more of that. Why aren't you on the call? Have you made sales? Have you recruited people? Have you? And then you're thinking, can I pay the rent? Can I feed my kids? Can I? Like, that's just a recipe for disaster, burnout, major stress, just, not good stuff.
Yeah. So an issue in these groups is that you actually don't have access to the trainers. It's you, because you're a coach now, and your uplines. So there's people in there asking questions about nutrition, about fitness, about injuries, about health, and there's unqualified people telling people what to do.
Yeah.
It's like going into, the mom groups and asking, hey, my kid has a fever, what do I do? And then all these randoms, instead of going to the actual professional. You need an oil change in your car. You aren't going to go to your beautician. You're going to go to an oil change. So that's one of the things when I decided to leave, because I'm like, I need to educate myself. I actually want to help people, and I want to know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the same time, I'm going to be like, if someone asks me something I don't know, I have a network of people that I will, go talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I can ask. But you have people assuming, because now their title is coach, that they know what they're doing and they're qualified to be giving advice, and they're not.
And I guess a lot of people are under such immense pressure to be this knowledgeable person when they don't have the resources, and they're tired and fucking hungry so that they will do things which are maybe not aligned with their values because they're in a difficult state trying to survive this company. Yeah. So what's been Beachbody's stance on body positivity in the past?
They don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They believe, well, one, they don't actually understand what the body positivity movement is.
What do you think that they think it means?
That thin white women sitting on their chair folded over in a picture showing their rolls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yes. So showing natural skin folds on a straight size person. Yeah.
Yep. And that's one of a previous top coach. She got to top at the company for like building underneath her because a post went viral. Beautiful woman, stood up, this is my body, then sat down, showed her natural fold. This is also my body positivity. I'm like, that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time when that went viral, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But when you know better, you do better.
Yeah. Like,
love that quote.
Yeah. Like hashtag embrace your flaws. And it's like, you're a thin white person. Like, where are the flaws? I can't see them with my eyeballs. What are you talking about? Yeah.
They, if you go into the groups, they think it's just celebrate everybody's body. It's like, well, that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
they don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Because then if it is just that, then they can use that as a tool to sell more shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in the past, they were anti body positivity, right? Tell us about that one person who went on a rant about it.
Oh, it was autumn again.
Oh, it was autumn again. Oh, autumn.
It was autumn. And it was this summer.
Yeah.
People have been pushing back, like I said earlier, against what Beachbody has stood for. Last year and a half, really, it's picked up a lot, especially against her, because most of the other super trainers don't put themselves out there like she does, and they're actually very like a few of them I've met, and I'm like, okay, you're really cool, but she promotes her idea of health is her. You're only healthy if you look like her, you eat like me, you work out like me. This is healthy. And people are like, oh, this program isn't good. This isn't healthy. This is hurting me. Like people like, I had that experience. And she blocks and calls troll. Like there's no conversation, even though she says, I'm willing to have a conversation. No, because I've been blocked for like 8 months now. And I was very kind when I messaged her. I was like, hey, can we actually talk about what body positivity movement is and what diet culture is? Because diet culture is not being on a diet. It's more than that. And I got blocked. I was like, she don't want to hear it. But she basically said she is so sick and tired of this body positivity bullshit movement.
Mm-hmm.
Because people aren't positive about her body.
Yeah. Because
it's not about her.
Yeah. And then when I watched that video, and I'll share it on the podcast, that video just reeked of privilege, of not understanding the fact that as a thin white woman, she is able to move through the world. And yes, sometimes people will say, I don't like the look of your body, and that's not okay. It never is. That's not what body positivity is. No. Saying that thin people don't look good. But not understanding the systemic issues that people in bigger bodies face daily, the interpersonal and intrapersonal stigma that they are facing. And it is nothing, someone saying your body is too small, Autumn, is nothing compared to what fat people, especially people in bigger fat bodies, and also people who have other marginalized identities, experience. And so because some people have said, I don't like your body, she thinks that's what body positivity is. Like, what?
A lot of the comments about her body were actually concern.
Yeah.
For her health, because people are watching and they're seeing a shift, and people are actually showing concern. She's not liking the concern. And there are some people being very rude, very disrespectful, and totally unnecessary. But many of the people reaching out to her were sharing concern.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to hear it. She
Yeah.
still doesn't want to hear it, because she went on today. This great timing. She did a live this morning. I sent that to you.
Yeah.
She's doubling down. She tried to backtrack. No, I don't hate I don't think the body positivity movement is bullshit. I think everybody should be body positive. But she centered herself again. Made it about her being attacked again. It's like, you aren't being attacked for how you look. You're being questioned and challenged in your attitudes and your belief and how you are presenting information.
Yeah. And how the fact that what she's telling people to do is harming them, like literally teaching people to, well, taking their money for one with the pyramid bullshit, but then also telling people that they need to be thinner, or they need to work out a certain amount or eat a certain amount of food. It's just no. Even a registered dietitian won't tell you what to eat. Like,
and no. I work with a dietitian. He does not tell me what to eat.
No.
unless I ask him for specific ideas for food. If I'm like, I really want it. I need something quick or easy. I'm like, help, I'm blanking.
Yeah.
I have a nutrition certification, but I don't take on nutrition clients. I use it to help the people I work with now, if they want help with that. And I give very general information. And it's more about guiding them to be confident in making their own choices.
Yeah.
If they need more help than what I can give them, then I refer them to a registered dietitian.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone's listening and they have a dietitian telling them what to eat, unless it's because they are definitely allergic to it, they might die from eating it or whatever, then that dietitian is probably teaching you some diet culture, disordered eating, and all that type of stuff. So the reason for us talking today is because there has been what was it, like a yearly meeting or something?
Yeah. So they have every summer they have a big summit with I don't want to say all the coaches, with a lot of the coaches. It's just a big show. And I watched some of it this year, and I went to one in 2017, and they said the same exact things. Like it's the same stuff every year, same thing. And it's just like, it's just a way to get people more into buying in to the cult mentality of it.
And when you say the same things, is it more like you need to hustle, you need to be better because you're all pieces of shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
This year was funny though, because I know that the company has been listening, and Carl has been listening, because he got on stage in front of 10,000 coaches and called out the haters and the trolls who are speaking out against Beachbody.
Oh.
In his opening speech.
What did he say? Like, hi everyone, I'm listening to you.
Yeah. No, I'm not. We need to ignore them.
Oh. I thought he was like, oh, he's changing. We're going to listen to your concern.
No. We're going to ignore them. Ignore them. They're just unhappy, miserable people.
Yes,
basically is what he's. I'm like, sure. And he also tried to. He said they're not a multi-level marketing anymore. It's not multi-level marketing.
Oh,
it's participation marketing.
Oh, and so what's the difference?
There isn't one.
Oh, it's just a different name. Okay,
just a different name
to trick people. I say.
Yep. So they do the big thing in the summer, and then in the fall they have what's called the leadership retreat, which are the top. You have to earn enough points to get there, which essentially means you have to build a team and get people under you to a certain rank. So they build teams to get there. So it's about recruiting. Who's recruited the best and who has taught people to recruit the best. It's like, I think there maybe was like 100 people there. It's small. And they take this time to tell that they're the leaders of the company. they say this is what's coming up next year. So that was what happened last weekend, 35 minutes from my house.
And so they announced what's coming up next year, and you mentioned it before, is that they are now going to be a body positive company.
Yes, they're embracing body positivity.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm backing that up. They brought on a new vice president of personal development, and she got up on stage and spoke and said, Carl is the only person in the fitness industry putting a stake in the ground to make these changes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's like, why is Vinny having that reaction, is because that is utter bullshit. People have been working at this stuff for years, for decades, and of course it's a rich white man who is putting a stake in the ground and saying, no longer, we're going to do it the right way. Thank God for CEO Carl. He's saving the day. Yep. Oh, amazing.
It was, and it was a rich, thin white woman who made that statement.
Oh, of course.
There's no diversity in the executives at all.
They're all white and thin.
Yeah. Men.
Oh, and they're all men. Well, I'm guessing
a lot are men. You know,
most of the coaches are probably women, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tracks that they're all men. And so
most are men.
And so Carl, the CEO, was putting a stake in the ground, and he's saying that the Beachbody is now going to be a body positive company.
Yes.
And okay, so when I hear that, this is what I think of a body positive company. They are no longer going to prescribe any type of diets, any type of restrictive eating. They are not going to be teaching eating at all. In fact, they are going to be teaching intuitive eating and healing the harm that they have done through their restrictive diet. So that's the first thing a body positive company will be doing. They are overhauling their leadership team to make sure that we have lots of fat people, fat people, a lot of people with other marginalized identities, queer people, trans people, etc. They are going to only have workouts that are presented by people in marginalized bodies, and they're never going to tell anyone to work out. Also, they are no longer going to be making money from selling shakes and stuff like that, and they're also not going to have a pyramid scheme model, and they're also going to make a huge donation for all of the harm that they've caused to eating disorder charities, to fat positive movement leaders. So that's probably what they announced, right, Jen?
No.
Oh,
none of that.
Well, what is it that they announced that they're going to be doing to make themselves body positive?
Body positivity, this is their new definition, and a healthy, active lifestyle can coexist.
They're two separate things.
And shifting from Beachbody to BODi, which again is an acronym, Body on Demand Beachbody on Demand Interactive.
BODi.
BODi. It's a lowercase I. This is where it is always feels good to be you.
This is so fucking tricky, because if I was a layperson to this topic, I would read that. This is where it would say it again.
This is where it feels good to be you.
Oh, that is so fucking tricky. I would hear that and say, okay, they support that I'm fat. They support that I'm trans non-binary. They think it's cool that I'm queer. La 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 la. There's not going to be any of that bullshit. But it's a bait and switch. It's just the same old bullshit, but with a pretty bow on top.
So now their new platform is based on health esteem.
Self-esteem.
Health esteem. You have to love yourself enough to make these changes.
You just
happiness and long-term results coexist.
Not if your happiness does not coexist with disordered eating, over-exercising, eating disorders, fucking not making any money, not being able to pay the rent. Like, that does not coexist. No. Oh my goodness. So
here's the health esteem routine.
Yeah, tell me more.
Though there's more. Truly feel amazing and truly enjoy your life. And the picture they have up there is all thin white. Well, I can't say all, because there's one woman that's not white. She's a couple people are Hispanic, but they're white women and socially acceptable bodies. In none of these pictures is there anyone in a marginalized body.
My God. And the whole health esteem thing. Not everyone can be healthy. Health is a deeply complicated topic, and a lot of what makes up health is social justice stuff. It's like where you live, it's the color of your skin, it's if you can access healthcare. It's not, did you have this Shakeology shake? Like that is, yeah.
No, their idea of health esteem and how to build health is to exercise, to eat sustainable nutrition, which their plans are not. Mindset, they're bringing that in now. So now they're bringing in mental health. So now they're going to be mental health experts, which is, I found interesting, because when I was in there, and since the beginning, they have 5 pillars of what it takes to be a successful coach. And one of them is read personal development every day. You are always reading personal development. Well, I can't say I was, because I hated all the personal development books that they told me to read. I tossed. I'm like, this is crap. I'm not reading this.
Very good for you.
I'm like, no, I saw. So when I had one foot out the door when I started. But that's their thing. And now they're co-opting body positivity and trying to turn it into something it's not. And at the same time, they're saying they are anti-diet because you can eat more dessert.
Hang on. They're saying they're anti-diet. They are anti-diet because
their new thing is to eat more dessert. That's part of their health esteem thing.
And what's a bet? Bets, take your bets that the dessert that they're saying that you're allowed to eat is like fucking a date dipped in like unsweetened chocolate that once was the whisper of a baby's breath or something. Like what?
It's Shakeology.
Stop it. Is it really Shakeology? You can't make this shit up.
They're going to encourage people to eat dessert every day, but it's Shakeology desserts. They got recipes.
Oh my God. Oh, Jen, you can't make. We're anti-diet because we want you to buy more of our fucking shit.
And make recipes with them, which I find, again, like I said earlier, none of this language, none of the stuff they're putting out there is new. This is the same stuff they were telling back in 2014, 15, 16 when I was in it.
Yeah. We
were using Shakeology for dessert mug cakes back then. We were talking about Shakeology as being, I scrolled through my Instagram the other night just to see how bad I actually was. Because I was at some points.
Yeah.
And there's posts of me with my Shakeology going, I didn't eat a cupcake at my mom's birthday. I came home and made myself this instead. This is my dessert.
This is how much this eating, disordered eating has taken hold of my life. I won't celebrate my mom's birthday because I'm going to make some shitty Shakeology bullshit that's not going to satisfy my hunger. like
shakes. They have like recipes for puddings and cakes and Shakeology. Like, that's not new. It's been around, but now they've gone from Shakeology was your healthiest meal of the day. It was 7 salads in a glass.
What?
Now, yeah, that was what they used to call it.
No.
Yeah, 7 salads in a glass, your healthiest meal of the day, and now it's dessert.
I find it so funny because I bet you there are so many people in the company who say like, we want natural food and we don't like, you know, any man-made crap or modified. Oh shit, tell me more, Jen. Oh my God.
So it's eat dessert every day and consume clean energy.
But of course, Shakeology is clean, even though it's like, you know, a powdered
processed.
But other processed stuff, that ain't clean. That shit's dirty.
Clean eating and clean supplements. And the energy they're talking about is their Energize supplement. Because that is clean, and all the other energies, all the other pre-workout supplements out there are dirty.
It's dirty. Oh my.
But they're anti-diet and they're anti-diet culture. But
yes,
there's a hierarchy of food there.
Yeah, that's so
clean,
weird.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Can have this dessert, not that dessert.
They're really working hard to polish a turd with that. Really working hard with that. Wow. And so when they announced that they're definitely anti-diet, they had said then that they're not going to be telling people what to eat and they're not going to be prescribing.
No. Wrong.
Oh, of course.
So with every program that comes out, you have access to their nutrition plans. And Autumn was on her Instagram Today Live telling people, yes, you can do gut protocol with my new workout program coming out. You can do timed nutrition, but you have to use your containers, or you can just use ultimate portion. It's all based on containers and portions. They limit the number of fruits and vegetables you can eat.
Of course. Because it's not about health. It's about losing weight.
Yeah.
Not that eating just fruit and vegetables is going to make you healthy, but you know.
No. But they limit the number. So it's like you eat 4 servings of vegetables and you're still hungry and you want to eat more. Oh, nope, I ate all my green containers. I can't have those carrots.
But maybe you can have a Shakeology.
So when I say I wasn't eating what was on the plan, I rarely ever ate my fruit. And I was also afraid of carbs. So I would only eat like one of my yellow containers, which was yellow was the carbs.
And they're saying they're anti-diet when they're literally like saying this is what you're going to eat. And presumably then you're going to have that before and after because you're going to be transformed.
But they're not before and afters anymore.
Oh, tell us what because they're body positive before and after.
They're concentrating on you now and loving you now. So it's a then and now.
Oh, so they went to the thesaurus and looked at what before and after. Before, what's a different word for before? Then, what's a different word for after? Now, that's it. We'll trick them. Now they know that we love fat people because we say then and now.
And then at the same time, the structure of their workouts programs are releasing or changing, and it's called BODi blocks. So it'll be 3 weeks of a workout program, 1 week of rest. But if you go to the frequently asked questions about the BODi blocks, the first paragraph talks about submitting your transformation pictures after the 3 weeks to enter the Beachbody challenge for your chance to earn part of the $100,000 prize. But they're not about before and afters.
No. But submit your before and afters because we want to see how thin
and
you
earn
are.
You get a shirt.
Oh. You get a shirt if you're thin enough.
If you submit a before and after, because they will use it for marketing.
Yeah. Does the shirt come in fat sizes?
No. No. Actually, a person I've connected with that has left, she shared a picture today in her stories. She won a shirt and it was a double XL and it didn't fit her. And she called them out for being size inclusive because it was the big double XL is the biggest size that they do.
And it's probably not a double XL either.
No.
It's probably, you know.
It's a medium.
Yeah.
It's a medium.
Oh my God. The other thing was that interview that I watched at double speed with Carl, the CEO, and then this other coach that was not a coach. What did you say? A modifier.
She is a coach, but she is a modifier in workout programs.
Okay. So something that he said to her at the end of their session, he was like, "Oh, it's so great to talk to you because," quote, "Oh," so he says, "You're not in the shape a coach should look like, but you're on a journey." So that's what he said. And this person is a 50-year-old woman who is very, very slightly chubby. Like she's straight size, right? And and so he was holding her up of, look at this disgusting person. She's on this journey to try and become fit because she's not in the shape that a coach should be. After he spent an hour saying, why are you not making more money, and needling her and saying, but what are you going to do to get your coaches to make more money? But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Why aren't you richer? Or why aren't you? And asking her inappropriate questions about her income and all this type of stuff. Like, so the CEO is quite happy to comment on and shame people's bodies on a public call, a live call that people can go and watch, and it just be kind of like a tough love type thing, because he kept saying, I know you can take it, I know you can take it, you can think on your feet. And I was just like, she's doing it because she's got a job. What is she going to say to you? Like, fuck off, you're a dickhead. And also he said, you need desperation and pressure to make it work. Like that's it. That's how he wants his people: desperate, under pressure, starving, overworked, working 18 hours a day. And then he's going to talk shit about your body and tell you you're not making enough money for him. Like,
and then put on this show a week ago about being body positive and wanting to erase the stigma of the name Beachbody. So they're shifting to BODi so they can reach all of the people that may not have felt welcome before.
Yeah. And their marketing team are experts, right? Like the same with Noom. Noom is a diet, Noom is 100% a diet, but because they said we're backed by psychology, they are not. This is just one guy who started Noom and was like, okay, well, we want to make as much money as possible. Diets are great. We're going to do that. And let's stick on the label of psychology and get people in. Like, we have some magic formula. There is no magic formula. It's not backed by science. It's not evidence-based, but it caught people. It would have caught me if I was not. I would 100% have done Noom. And when I was in diet land myself, and in fat phobia, and I think this BODi thing, I would have said, they've got their shit together. Now I'm gonna do it, because it's about, mental health, and it's about health, and it's about
loving yourself and self-esteem and health esteem. And I'm like, no, it's gonna be a bait and switch. I was telling someone, I'm like, it's all smoke and mirrors. It is all because we're watching, like, the coaches now, they're not changing their messaging. They did for 3 days. And now they're back to showing before and after pictures of programs. They're showing the pictures. And they'll go, but it's not about the weight loss, even though they talk about the weight loss. Like, why are you showing you don't need to show those pictures then. You can just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, I've been, because I don't have anybody take pictures. I don't share my own, like, because it's not part of it. There's no weighing in, there's no reason to, because that's such a very small, insignificant part of who you are and what your fitness is, how your health is, how well-being, who you are as a person. It doesn't matter. We're shifting away from that, and but it's not going to work with them. They're too it won't work.
Because they just don't know. They don't know. They're like, they don't understand what the fact that this is a social justice movement. They don't know the history behind it, and they don't care, because if they did, it would mean that they would have to close the business down or make humongous changes if they actually wanted to align with body positivity, fat positivity, fat liberation. They're just using it as a marketing tool, and I think, you know, it's a very smart move. But hopefully folks, if they listen to content like this, and a lot of people won't, because they'll be like, they're just trolls or whatever, or they're haters. Also kind of extending like big love to people who do get trapped in it, and who are sucked up into this stuff, because it is so tricky, and they're gaslighting. They're so gaslighting you, and
they manipulate.
Literally.
There was someone the other day in her stories. It was hot. Like, I had to call my therapist to schedule a session after watching them, because like, I still, you know, like, it never goes away. I still deal with it. But first she started by calling haters and trolls, and basically saying those of us that have spoken out and said we have had issues with disordered eating, orthorexia eating disorders, is that exacerbated by these programs. She called us liars. And then she went on to start crying, talking about her own issues with an eating disorder, and said that Beachbody saved her. Not therapy, Beachbody. And then she goes, my heart goes out to those people for what they're saying. It wasn't for what we experienced. It's because we're wrong in what we're speaking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, call my therapist. I'm like, I need an appointment.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would have been the same.
Like, because it was hard to watch, because you could see in her face she isn't healed, and that she's saying this saved her, but she just went from this to this and shifted her disordered behavior to something that is socially acceptable. Instead of, and then she said she helped save other women. I was like, oh God, no, you're not a therapist. You're not an eating disorder specialist. You're not an MD. No, like, I have people that come to me and are like, I want to work with you, but I'm working through an eating disorder. I'm like, okay, you need to work with that first, and talk to your therapist. And if your therapist says you're ready, let's work together as a team, because I'm not messing with that. Even though I had that experience, no, that's not my expertise. My expertise is movement and training. And so they're taking on, just because they experienced it, I'm an expert in it, so I'm helping save women from the same thing I went through. And it's like, that's not how it works. It's dangerous.
And also, I'm saving them by giving them more of the stuff that they're trying to be saved from.
Yeah.
By giving them more diet culture, body checking, etc., etc. I just want to like clarify for anyone who's listening who doesn't already know me, or isn't familiar with what fat liberation is, what health at every size is, what intuitive eating is. I've done a whole podcast episode on this, because Beachbody thinks that it's something else. So body positivity is a social justice movement. First records of people talking about it is in the 1960s, but it was people have been talking about it long before that. It just wasn't documented. Started by fat folks, fat women, fat trans people, infini fat people, fat Black, Indigenous, people of color, and it's a social justice movement to say fat people deserve the same rights as everyone else. So the same access to the world, the same opportunities, and we don't deserve discrimination. In the 1990s, the body positive language came about, which was stemmed from the origins of fat liberation, and focused a little bit more on accepting your body, no matter what size it was, but also still focusing on folks in larger bodies and those who have the most marginalized bodies. It's not about thinness should not be centered, whiteness should not be centered. Body positivity or fat liberation is not anti-health. It's got nothing to do with health apart from let's make sure that fat people have access to healthcare. It's not saying that you shouldn't work out. Moving your body can be wonderful for many people, but also many people can't do that because they might be living with a disability, because they just don't want to, because they have other priorities in their life. And those who do move their body and those who don't, there's no morality difference in them. There's nothing like you should eat quote unhealthy food, and if you eat quote healthy food that you're bad. There's no you shouldn't be thin, fat people are better. All of these ideas about what body positivity or fat liberation is that are not let's look for liberation for the most marginalized bodies in our society, specifically fat folks, is just false. It's just false. Like I did this episode on this, and they said there was this video that I watched called Body Positivity Gone Too Far, and I watched it being like, oh, let's see what the criticism is. And the guy said, here's a news story. Some parent says that they sleep in a bed with their children, and the children are not wearing clothes. Body positivity gone too far. And I was like, what the fuck? What the?
Wow.
He's saying that, oh, because they were European, because, you know, a lot of Europeans have a lot more open-minded view on nudity.
Yes.
So he was thinking nudity, okay, that means that they have a body, and we shouldn't feel ashamed of our body. Therefore, we should sleep with children naked. Therefore, people who sleep with children, their parents, they are body positive and they are predators. Like, it was like, what?
Wow.
How are you? But that's just what people do. They are willfully misunderstanding and saying, because really, how can you criticize the idea that fat folks should have equal access to the world? I mean, like, because there's nothing to criticize, you know?
No.
Like, and so they have to make it up.
They have to make it up. And like with Autumn specifically, and today, she talks about people about shaming her. And it's like, no, we're not talking about your body. We're talking about your behavior and your attitude and the messaging that you put out there. It's not about that. But she makes herself the victim and centers herself 100% of the time. And I know for me, when I wasn't blocked, I was in the comments. I'm like, this is what diet culture is. Here's the facts. Here's the education. Here are some resources if anybody wants to go see. I never talked about her. I was just sharing information. I got blocked for that.
Yeah, of course.
Because they want this echo chamber. Yeah. They don't want people to hear something other than what will keep them rolling in the money.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing we didn't mention, we'll just say this thing before we wrap up, is what do you think was the reason for them to shift to body positivity?
Money. They're not their money is their stock is doing horrible. They went public last summer, and I think it was around $12 a share. As of this morning, it was down to $1.06 a share. Woo! And Carl is the major shareholder. He holds the majority.
Yeah.
This year alone, it has not gone over $2.70.
And their stocks have gone down 53% year to date. So
yes,
he had to do something pretty radical, and stepping closer to the fatties is probably incredibly radical for him, but in a way that is very dishonest. And
I think it's going to backfire.
Do you think?
Big time. Yeah. Oh, Oh,
there's so much more, and people should go and follow you because you talk about this stuff. Where can people find you?
best place to find me is Jen with one N .coaching on Instagram.
Awesome. And so what do you do in your business? What's the name of your business?
Anchor Fit Club.
And so in Anchor Fit Club, how can people work with you?
Find me through Instagram. I do it's a group coaching program. So the program is already written out, but I like to say it's a combination of one-on-one coaching and group coaching, because there's a lot of access to me, one-on-one calls. I bring in guest speakers every month, which Vinny will be coming to speak with my group in February. But I created it to introduce women to strength training in a way that is actually building them up and not saying you need to make yourself smaller.
Yeah.
I'm open to conversations. It's the best way, just to chat.
Yeah. And if you've got some Beachbody goss, I'm sure that you would love to talk about it.
Yes. And I do have a YouTube channel, and I can't remember the name. I think it's just Jen Borruso. But I do live videos on there. We do sip and snarks on Beachbody. So that's where we're at.
Oh, good stuff. I've had so much fun talking to you about this bullshit, even though my rageometer is through the roof.
This is why I need a therapy appointment.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to a smash room this weekend.
Oh my goodness. And just like have a picture of Carl's face while you're smashing some vases or something.
Yes. I just need it in my head.
Yeah. So if anyone's thinking about falling for BODi, don't do it. Do what you want. What you want, but
message me first.
Yeah. Message Jen first, and she'll tell you all the shit. So thank you, Jen, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was so fun talking to you, and thank you everyone for being here on this episode of the Fierce Fighting Podcast. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, done. Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Jen.
Oh my goodness, this could be it could be like a 30-part episode.
I'm telling you, you've got so much stuff in there. There's so much stuff. And I bet people would be really, really interested in it. Maybe you should have you're already doing your videos, so yeah. I think the more that you talk about this stuff, it's interesting.
I had somebody send me a call from one of the top coaches. She's like, I'm on her team. I think I'm on her team, but I don't know, but I haven't canceled yet, but I'm canceling before I get charged again this month. She's like, here's all this stuff. So we have people sending us stuff constantly. So that's where I don't follow any Beachbody people. People send me their info, send me screenshots, send me the videos. Hey, you need to go watch this. I'm blocked by a lot of them, but I do have an extra backup account. So if I really need to go watch it, I can go screenshot. But it works having a team of people that are like, okay, we're all on the same page. Let's shed light and put out the information out there that the Beachbody coaches won't.
Yeah.
You need to be informed. That's our big thing. Just be informed. If you hear what we have to say, you listen to that and you still want to join, that's your choice. Right? But just be informed.
Yeah.
And they don't want people informed.
Yeah. And that's it. It was only especially this moves into also the online business world. The online business world is filled with all of this type of shit too, manipulating people, buy my really expensive program and you'll become a millionaire in 10 minutes and all that type of stuff.
That's a lot of Beachbody coaches, the older ones that have been around forever. Well, they're starting to recruit more now because they changed how you can make money. So they need to recruit. They actually need to recruit people now. But they've started their own offshoot businesses, teaching people how to work the Beachbody business. And creating their own planners. So they're doing that, and they're running their Beachbody business, which isn't their business. They're employees. I hate it when they call themselves CEOs. But everybody on their team, they say, you need to sign up for my course too. So they're making money off these people with commissions and volume money, and they're the downline is paying them $600 for a 2-month course.
Yeah.
So they're just raking the money in from these people, and it's just sad.
And it's not gonna, and that's like another lost money for people, because no matter how hard they work, there's only a small percentage of people it's going to work for, and it's probably people who already got connections.
Yep.
People who've already established businesses, people who've got money already that can pay for
the low earnings last year for a Beachbody coach of all ranks was $10. The high earnings, and this person doesn't even work the business, was $2,864,000.
Wow.
But the average earning, is only $3,000. That's the average.
And that's over a year.
Yeah. Yep.
It's horrifying, isn't it? I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Take it back. I don't want it. Right. I don't like it. But I'm glad you got out. I
am too.
Yeah. And I think this is a really interesting and important topic. I think you should talk even more about it all the time.
I am. I'm trying to find the balance between talking about this and at the same time sharing fitness stuff.
Yeah.
It's a balance. It's definitely like, am I talking about it too much? I do need to promote my business too. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm working on because I didn't say the price, because people can just message me and I tell them I put it out there. It's $157 a month for the group program. Mm-hmm. And first 3 months are commitment, and then it's month to month after if they want. So, but that's the price of a Shakeology bag.
Oh,
so I say that when I talk about it, just so you know, the price of my group coaching, which is a full-on training program, one-on-one coaching calls with an actual expert, group calls with experts, a community where we're not focused on shrinking ourselves, is $157 a month. But I have people that are leaving Beachbody are like, I can't afford that, but I want to work with you. I was like, okay, well, I'm working on doing like just a group, like a membership without the training. Mm-hmm. Where it's just like $10 a month for like a founders thing, and then increase it, and then they'll get the calls, but there won't be like a training program. Mm-hmm. And they won't have messaging access to me. It would just be me in the group chatting.
Yeah.
No direct messaging or anything like that, but it would be in there sharing. So that's a thought process I'm coming up with right now. I was on a call this morning with my business group mentorship thing, and we were actually talking about social justice and anti-racism work and things like that this morning. And the whole time I'm like, oh, Beachbody coaches would hate this call.
Would they? Do you think they would?
They would hate it. We talked about the 4 levels of power: internal, transactional, organizational, cultural, institutional, all over that stuff. And they would hate this.
Who's your business coach?
Right now I'm working with Allison Tenney.
Don't know. I look them up. Allison Tenney.
Allison Tenney, Tenney. And I've worked with Christina Montalvo too.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Allison Tenney, Ten. Oh, I'm looking at in Instagram. She's probably not on Instagram or under a different
She's on it.
Something.
Yep. Nope, she's under Allison.
Allison Tenney Fitness.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And I did the size inclusive trainer certification with Louise Green at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, she's my friend.
And then I've done I did Coach's Corner with Jamali Frazier this year too. And then Fitness for All Bodies.
Oh, very good.
Just as I've done his courses. They have I messaged him like, you're in Paris. I'm like, you didn't answer me, you're in Paris. They're doing another Calling All White Women.
They're doing a what, sorry?
They do a talk or a workshop every once in a while called Calling All White Women.
Oh.
And that's happening December 5th again. I'm like, because I messaged him like, I want to come to one. You always share it too late. Like, what's the next one? It's like December 5th. I said I marked off my calendar.
Oh, and then what is it's teaching about racism and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So done that one. And then next year I'm looking into doing more social justice stuff, because the training, I have a certification. I have my personal training certificate, but it's the same thing. Like once you have programming and training down and you know how people move, that's fine. It's the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
the
hard stuff.
Yeah, there's so much to learn. Like, lifelong process of unlearning all of that bullshit that we internalized. But
right.
Well, thank you for being here, Jen. I really appreciate it. And
this was fun.
Yeah, really interested in this topic. And so the podcast will be out next week, and I'll tag you.
Okay.
I'm wondering, because I normally do an audiogram, which is a snippet from the podcast, and because I do it at the end and I say da 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 da. Actually, let's do it right now if you've got time. Just like spend like 2-3 minutes just talking about this shit. Okay, so let me. What do we want to say in it? Okay, so watch out for Beachbody's new. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, watch out for Beachbody's new body positive grift. And then I'm going to say, Jen, tell us about it. And so in like 2 minutes or 1 minute, 30 seconds, the shorter the better, say, last week, they had a meeting and they announced that Beachbody is now body positive and they're changing their name to BODi. And then maybe then I'll say, oh, so Jen, are they no longer teaching diets? Are they no longer teaching disordered exercise routines? And then you'll say no. And then I'll say, oh, it's just a big old scam.
And I'll go, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Well, all right. Okay. I gotta get a wiggle on. I could chat all day to you, Jen. All right.
Again, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Yes, I have to start getting ready I have to get the kids to karate. That's what I have to do.
So you have to get them to cry?
Karate.
Oh.
Karate. Oh.
I had to get them to cry. I was like, oh.
My oldest is almost 16 and my youngest just turned 12.
So yeah. Lots of stuff. Well, enjoy the karate or getting them there. Yes. And I'll tag you and I'll let you know when this is. We're coming out next Tuesday or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Bye. Thank you, Jen.
All right. Bye. I'll talk to you later.